Hello everyone, Forrest the Avid Engine back, and welcome back to another reaction. For those wondering why I didn't react myself to the Unlucky Tugs' previous video, was that unfortunately the footage of the reaction got corrupted. And because I don't have any technological knowledge of how to fix footage, it ended up not happening. So I truly am sorry, but what can you do? So I've got it fixed up. I've made sure that OBS isn't screwing me over, and so with that, we're now going to be reacting to the Unlucky Tugs' Let's Talk About the 2026 Thomas series. Well, not just talk about his thoughts on it, but also my thoughts on it, because it's, from what we've seen so far, I will say it's definitely a lot better than All Engines Go, so, well, maybe. We'll have to wait and see, but for now, we've got a video to react to, so let's react to it. No, it isn't.
Thomas is coming back in 2026.
Oh yeah.
And boy, oh boy, has he had an upgrade. No longer is he the baby-coated chibi cartoon from All Engines Go. He is back in CGI as a realistic-looking steam engine again. Well, mostly,
Sort of.
anyway. There has been so much hype surrounding this upcoming reboot. Everyone has thoughts, and so do I. I've been dying to share them, but I've been waiting till we get a trailer or some sort of major reveal before I made a video. New information keeps coming out daily, it seems like, and I wanted to make sure that we had a pretty clear picture of what the future is bringing before I made my thoughts concrete. Really? Nothing, Patrick? I said the thing. I said concrete. You don't want to chip in at all? Oh, sorry, you're sleeping. I'll leave you alone. Well, Toy Fair just happened last weekend, and Mattel showed off a bunch of the upcoming toys,
Oh, yeah.
which confirmed quite a few things about this new show. I think we have more than enough stuff to talk about now, so now is as good a time as any to make a video. I think the best way to tackle all the reveals is to just go through the timeline of events leading up to now, and I'll share my thoughts with you as we go along.
All Engines
Go ended last year, with its final special airing the day before the 80th on May 11th. I think most people agree that All Engines Go was a misfire. Yeah, it has its fans, but I think it failed to make any sort of long-lasting impact with its main target audience, kids. If I were to give you all my summarized thoughts on this show, I think it's that it did not have a clear vision of what it wanted to be. Every single aspect of this show feels like something that was decided by a corporate boardroom of executives, and not from the mind of a single creator who understands what Thomas is.
Yeah, okay, All Engines Go does have its moment, and it's very weird and yet interesting lore implications. Like, the fact that the Fat Controller in All Engines Go is fucking Richard. Like, no joke, one of the episodes is about Thomas and Bruno taking a statue of the Fat Controller's great-granddad, Sir Topham Hatt the First. It's fucking Richard.
This show featured extremely cartoony versions of the characters that can jump off the track whenever they please and use their wheels as hands. It's to such a ridiculous level that I think even the most casual viewer would look at this and ask, why are they even trains then?
Yeah.
What is the show even about? They just do things that humans do. So why is this Thomas?
Why don't they like it? We spent $250 million on this.
Yeah.
What exactly did this show offer that no other generic kid show on the market didn't already? So Mattel's grand plan to make Thomas stand above its competition and sell better was to remove everything about it that made it special and unique and make it look more like the competition and more disposable and forgettable. Gee, one can only wonder why this wasn't a long-lasting success. All Engines Go was unceremoniously cancelled, to the relief of most fans. And I don't think any of us expected a new show anytime soon after that.
Not really.
But, oh, were we wrong.
That we were.
So the first we heard about anything regarding a potential future for Thomas was back during the weekend of the 80th anniversary celebrations. Mattel released the pilot, announced the prop store auction, and put out a press release stating that Thomas would be embarking on new adventures in 2026, which would delight fans old and new. We got further confirmation when news outlets outright said that this mystery project would be a TV series.
Look, apart from all the new toys and the new TV series that are coming out soon.
And from there, we speculated. And then all hell broke loose when these were discovered on Amazon in December. Renders of upcoming diecast toys, featuring the characters with some pretty scary looking faces. It seemed like a bomb went off when these were found, because everyone was freaking out. Thomas and Friends was coming back with an all-new look, and they actually looked like trains again. January brought even more leaks, an entire listing of characters to be featured in this new diecast range, and, presumably, the new show itself. Characters from all across different eras of the series. We got Hero, Oliver and Toad, Charlie, Bruno, Mavis, Scruffy, Rheneas. That was the one that broke me the most. I totally thought the narrow gauge engines would just never ever be relevant in this franchise again.
No,
merchandise-wise, this new lineup is stacked. And I gotta admit, even I got pretty dang excited by all these names.
And with,
never have we ever had a merch launch with such a stacked lineup. Mattel must really have a lot of faith in this to put out so much new stuff at once. Later in the month, toy boxes were found. This is our first look at the branding for the new show, and our first glimpse at the official character renders. And I put official in air quotes, because I don't think any of these are the final designs. They're pretty clearly all mock-ups using the old nitrogen renders with the new faces shopped onto them. With the exception of Harold, who has a completely new design that looks nothing like Harold. I'm sorry, but that is not Harold the helicopter.
No.
That is Chad the helicopter. Harold's cousin twice removed. What did they do to you, bro? Kind of surprised he's not wearing like goggles or sunglasses or some shit. There was a lot of speculation that these renders were made with AI. And I get why. They do have that weird uncanny sort of look to them, and that weird yellow color grading that AI generated pictures tend to have. But I honestly don't think they are. I think they're just rushed photo bashes that have been overly airbrushed.
Yeah, someone actually confirmed somewhere on Twitter that, yeah, like that concept image of Thomas literally was just a photo bash. So yeah, no, like if it's in terms of like upping the looks, maybe, but in terms of like everything on it, no, it's just straight up photo bashing.
The uncanny character renders aside, I do dig the new branding. I like that the toy boxes are utilizing the real estate better, and using nice big pictures of the characters on them. Seem to be taking some notes from the Pixar Cars line there. I don't even mind the logo.
Well, okay. On that note, I think, again, I don't know where I saw this, but, and take this one with a grain of salt, but someone mentioned that the guy who does the Cars merchandise is the one responsible for, like, the merchandise and the packaging, so,
change. It feels wrong to change the logo up after having the same one for decades, but I don't dislike it. It feels modern without making it unrecognizable. It's still a steam cloud, it still uses the same colors, it's just more round now. The branding overall feels fresh. The darker blue and the track graphics give me an older 8+ kids Hot Wheels age type of vibe. Kinda seems like they're aiming for a slightly older demographic with this rebrand, which I'm all for. I also just want to say, I think the new toy ranges look really fun, both motorized and diecast. The motorized stuff has seen some actual innovation in its design.
Yeah.
They all don't share one chassis anymore. The tender engines use a special larger one with separate bogies on it now. The on and off switches have been replaced by much nicer looking buttons. And the track has been redesigned, so derailed rolling stock auto re-rails itself. Usually I would say redesigning the toy systems again is a bad thing, but I do recognize the innovation here. Nothing feels like it was redesigned in a way to just be cheaper, but actually be an improvement.
I mean, yeah, but...
I'm also quite taken by the new diecast range. This is like exactly what I have been wanting from Thomas for ages, and what I thought we were going to get last year with the 80th range. Finally, a new diecast range with a ton of characters to collect and choose from. Finally, some major variety. It's like a dream come true. The tender engines look so good. They're all lengthy,
amazing.
they have the correct wheel configurations, and all of them have swiveling front bogies. Like, that's unheard of. They've never done that before. Now, they're not all winners. Toby, especially, looks poor. Like, the top half of him looks decent, and then they just gave up on the bottom half. The boy's naked. Put some clothes on, man.
They're like children here.
But overall, I'm pretty happy with how these look. And regardless if the new show is actually good or not, I'll probably still collect these. I haven't been this excited for a new Thomas line in a while. But I think it's safe to say that fans were kind of split upon seeing these. I think most of us agreed that the new faces were kind of weird looking and a little off-putting. For some, that was enough to deter them.
Honestly, some of the faces have grown on me. Like, Thomas and Rosie's faces are probably, like, the best redesigned faces. Gordon, Henry, and Percy, I'm sort of... Well, okay. Thomas and Rosie, definitely on the top. Followed closely by Diesel and Toby. Then you have, like, Gordon, Henry, and Percy, which are just sort of, like, mid at best. And then, oh boy, what happened to Nia and James? Like, again, James has Edward's face. Like, what were they thinking?
While others were still interested to see more, I was in the latter camp. What we really needed at this point was to see some actual footage of this thing.
Yeah. Actual footage.
And we got exactly that on January 27th, when Mattel put out a press release officially announcing the new show and unveiling Thomas's new look. And with it, we got a quick clip of the new Thomas in action. And there is a lot to talk about here. The press release itself doesn't state anything we didn't already know, other than the new show is set to debut in the fall. And apparently, it's just going to be called Thomas and Friends again, no subtitle, which I am A-okay with. Let's talk about that clip of Thomas they showed. So first off, for some reason, this clip doesn't have sound, which is a little weird. It's just ominously silent. I gotta say though, I think the animation looks lovely. I love the background. I love the colors and the lighting. I love the sky. The clouds look more real here than they ever have. This is just so pleasant to look at. I'm so glad that we're going back to a more real-looking world. I'd say it's on par with the animation circa season 21, which was the peak of the CGI series in my opinion. And honestly, you all have no idea how relieved I was that Thomas looks like Thomas again. He's just a normal train again, with no stupid wheel hands bullshit crap. And the Thomas model looks pretty great too. I'm so happy they reapproached how they went about the riveting detail. When they did this before, they overdid it, and clearly did not do any research. They just plopped rivets wherever with no rhyme or reason. Why are they on his cab sides here? What are those bolts going into? The rivet detail here is a lot more tasteful. And it's reflective of the real E2 class tank engine, which had rivets along the tank sides like this. They clearly did some research here, and heard the fan complaints that the Bubba redesigns were ugly and awful. I don't mind the bigger number 1 on his side. That appears to be a Railway Series thing, at least in the older books. Yeah, what can I say? I don't mind it. I like the darker silver color of the side rods. I like that his wheel cranks are also silver now, like they are in Thomas the Tank Engine. And I love the new texturing. There's some dirt and rust weathering in the corners of his smoke box now. That looks so good.
Yeah, like it looks like like they got Aardman, like the same guys that do like Wallace and Gromit and what was it, Flushed Away, I think, and just added that sort of style into CGI, and it looks amazing.
There is, of course, only one thing about this new Thomas that I'm not
face?
a big fan of. And it's unfortunately the first thing we look at. His face. Yeah, his new face, and all of the new character faces, for that matter, are a little off-putting to me. And I'm gonna tell you right now, it's 100% because of the eyes. I really don't understand this recent push to keep the irises colored. This was something that they first started doing in All Engine.
Okay, the colored iris. I'm actually one of the people to say that the colored irises, I'm okay with.
Go, giving the characters these giant cutesy colored My Little Pony looking anime eyes. I didn't really like it there either, but I'll admit that it looks better in 2D. In 3D, I don't know.
I think it's just because of like this little shine here that's. I think that's my only thing. Like, why is it on there?
Oh, it's just kind of weird looking to me. And this cutesy look kind of contrasts the more realistic texturing on Thomas here. I understand it could be that I'm just not used to it yet, and I would like to see more of it in motion to get a better idea. But I will say though, it looks better in the final animation here than it does on the key art. Holy god, this is so unsettling. But I don't know. This is like the one major sticking point for me, because everything else here looks fantastic. Let's take a look at that concept art that they dropped with this too, where they showed the hundreds of face designs that they went through before landing on the final one. There's a few face designs on this that I quite like, and honestly prefer.
Also, just pointing out that we have an Unlucky Tug video right here.
To the one that they went with. Now, some of you eagle-eyed fans spotted this in the background. That is a screenshot from one of my videos. I am both flattered and bewildered by this. Bewildered because I don't understand why this screenshot is even here, and it's from my old model series timeline video of all things. Like, why that video? But I'm also flattered because, to me, this says that the people working on the new show watch fan content. That says to me that they're actually interested in what the fans have to say. And that gives me a lot of hope. There was also this key art of Thomas, which I believe was made before the model was finalized. And this other one featuring Percy and Rosie that they're now using on the YouTube banner. And they look a little unsettling to me. And they do kind of have that uncanny AI-generated look to them. I know the AI allegations have been debunked. Mischief48 on Twitter did a thorough thread breaking down this render. But I don't know, there's just this weird aura to them. The one of Thomas, Percy, and Rosie is especially uneasy. I don't like the way Thomas is staring right at me with his kawaii eyes.
And stop staring at me with them big old eyes!
I don't get that feeling from the final animated version though, thank God. I'm getting major flashbacks to those gross-looking renders that they would use of the new characters on the toy boxes,
that is true.
Which looked nothing like the final character models. Speaking of this promo image, Rosie being in it shows a little promise. Going by this alone, it seems like they're pushing Thomas, Percy, and Rosie as the main three in the marketing, replacing Thomas, Percy, and Nia before, and Thomas, Percy, and James before that. It makes total sense. Rosie's a red engine, she's a small engine, and she's a girl, so you get a nice balance overall.
Yeah.
I'm actually surprised it took them this long to do this. This is what I thought they were going to do almost 10 years ago when they brought Rosie back in season 21. Remember this promo pic? It totally seemed like they were setting Rosie up to be a main cast member. She even played a big role in the episode that initiated the cast changes. Only to just do pretty much nothing with her following that. If they want to make Rosie a main, I'd be pretty content with that, to be honest. Rosie is kind of a blank slate as it is, so they can kind of do whatever with her. And I think fans will be okay with that, because Rosie is a character that's been around forever. 20 years, in fact. That's crazy to think about. She has an established fan following. People want to see her expanded on more. This isn't like Nia and Rebecca when they threw existing characters aside to push these completely new faces into the main cast and just expected everyone to go along with it and accept them. I'm quite interested in seeing what they do with Rosie, but I gotta say, her new face design is so bizarre.
I like it. It gives her more of a tomboy look, which a lot of people like to characterize her as a tomboy, which, I mean, it kind of makes sense. And I also characterize her as a tomboy, so...
What was the thought process here? This is just a completely new character. Were they looking at pics of Eugene Levy when they gave her those giant eyebrows? Why does she have those? This also makes me wonder if the whole STEAM Team ensemble will still be a thing in this new show, or if they'll just ditch it entirely. True. I'm really, really hoping for the latter. Shortly after this, the lead designer of the rebrand, Tyler Kenny, spoke out on LinkedIn, expressing his excitement for the relaunch, and also confirming that this rebrand was apparently a 2-year effort. Which really puts things into perspective. That would place its production start around late 2023, early 24 or so, while All Engines Go was still airing its 2nd season. That is really funny. Mattel knew that early on that they shit the bed, and All Engines Go was not going to have the legs they expected. Anyways, my final thoughts on the January 27th reveal was that the new Thomas, overall, looks pretty good. The animation looks really high quality, and I'm happy that they all look like trains again. Rosie potentially being pushed as a main sounds promising. The new faces with the big kawaii eyes will take some getting used to, but I think it's something that I can learn to accept, as long as the new show is substantive and has good writing.
That's pretty much the only thing we're waiting for. Ah, yes.
And that brings us to this past weekend. New York Toy Fair 2026, the annual expo where all the big toy companies show off what they're putting out for the new year. Thomas had a fairly prominent presence this year, unlike the last couple years, and I suspect that this is why they put out that press release so early before the new show comes out. They wanted the new Thomas to be in the public mind before revealing all the new toys. So there is a lot to talk about with what was shown off at Toy Fair. Train World was present, and most of the pics that we have of the event are from them. So thank you to Train World for being our eyes there.
Thank you.
The Thomas booth had a huge display with a giant Thomas statue, complete with his new face, which doesn't look as creepy here, I must admit. The big eye candy was this display of many of the upcoming diecasts, and this was our first look at what many of the characters are going to look like in this new show. On the top shelf, we have all the Tender Engines and Nia, and they all just look fantastic. Nia looks amazing. We have another angle of her in a prototype box, and I gotta say, that is a great looking Nia diecast.
It does.
It's a perfect likeness to her. All her wheels are present, great proportions, no complaints from me. First time I've ever really wanted to buy a Nia toy. Hero is also here, and he looks fantastic as well. Again, all his wheels are present, and he's so big. The second row shows all the small engines that we've already seen, and Flynn, the fire truck, everyone's favorite character. Flynn has had a total ground-up redesign.
Which, again, it makes more sense for Belle to be a part of the show, not Flynn. Just
He
saying.
looks more like a modern fire truck now, and seems to be British in his design. He kind of looks like Jupiter from Fireman Sam.
A little bit, yeah.
Was that intentional? I have no idea if he'll have the rail wheels gimmick still, or will just be a normal fire truck, but I don't see why he wouldn't. Modern fire trucks do have that ability, but I guess we won't know until the show comes out.
Yeah.
I gotta say though, I'm kind of whatever about this redesign, purely because it's Flynn. He was a stupid nothing character before that no one liked. I really don't care that they redesigned him so heavily. I don't think it looks bad or anything, but I do think it's just kind of unnecessary. It kind of begs the question, if you're going to redesign a character so much that they don't resemble the original at all, then why not just make it a new character? Why not make this Frank the Fire Truck, right? And the third row had the biggest bombshells. We got our first look at Whiff, who for the first time in a diecast line has separately fitted glasses. I think that looks great. Next to him is Mavis, and oof. Oh my, what did they do to you, Mavis? Her face looks so scary. Why did they make her look evil? Why does every female character have these pointy, almond-shaped eyes now? She looks so bald to me, and I finally figured out why. Her face is rounded at the top now, like darts. It's not a square anymore. Her cab side has been changed. Her name's been replaced with a number, D0204, which I don't think is a number that any real-life class
I looked everywhere, it isn't.
before war, so who knows what that's a reference to. Yeah, I don't know. I don't love Mavis's new design, but I am happy she's here though. Next to Mavis is Charlie, and there's a lot to take in here. Now we don't know for sure right now, but going by the pointy eyes with the eyeliner, it appears Charlie is female now. I mean, Charlie is a unisex name, so it does work either way. If they really have gender swapped Charlie, I mean, I don't really take any issue with it. Like Flynn, Charlie was a pretty nothing character anyways that hasn't done anything since, what, 2013? This is the most interesting thing to happen to Charlie since his debut. And it's not the first time they've gender bent a character, bringing them into a new canon, as we've seen in the past with Rusty. I've no doubt that this was done to balance out the greater cast, which I'm totally fine with. But I do wonder why they opted to gender swap Charlie instead of just bringing back an already existing Girl Tank Engine character, like Lady or Ashima or Gina, or just making a brand new character. I guess we'll just have to wait and see what they do with her. But ultimately, I don't think it's anything worth getting up in arms about. Upon closer inspection, it looks like Whiff has eyeliner too? So Whiff may also be female now. Hard to say right now. Next to Charlie is Scruffy. We saw Scruffy in the motorized range before Toy Fair, and his diecast looks pretty much the same as that. I'm happy to see Scruffy again. I'm really curious what they're going to do with him in this show. I have some of my own theories. And lastly is Salty, who looks fine. I'm happy his running board is black again, and not a solid yellow piece like in previous ranges. That always looked so cheap to me. In general, I think these diecasts look pretty great, and I'm even more dead set on collecting the range when it hits stores.
Yeah.
I do take one major issue with these, and it's more an issue with the show itself than the toys. It's the nameplates. Mattel has slowly begun trying to globalize the Thomas brand over the years, removing any English lettering off characters whose names might be different in a different language, like how Percy is known as Pierre in France, for example. I mean, this stuff isn't new. They started changing the look of the tankers in CGI back in 2009 to use imagery instead of words that say milk or tar on the sides. In All Engines Go, they removed Harold's name off his sides, and now we're seeing this done on the engines themselves here. Mavis's name has been replaced with a number, which looks fine. I don't mind that. And then you got Hero. Hero's nameplate now just says 51 on it. I think the most egregious example is Charlie's, which just says NWR on it now. That looks so bad. My initial reaction was, if they want to take the names away, why not just remove the nameplates entirely? And then I realized, they didn't remove them because the character designers likely didn't know that nameplates could be removed. They didn't know that's what they were. To them, that's just a piece that's on the train that has to be there. So what did they do? They left them on and just changed what was on them. It's so poor, and it kind of gives me the impression the character designers don't really get how trains work. And that's a real shame, considering they appeared to do some research with Thomas's design. It makes me a little worried what characters like Bill and Ben and Rheneas are going to look like. What on earth will be on their nameplates? The YouTube channel Toy Anxiety covered the Thomas booth, and in their video, the Mattel rep confirmed that the new show will be kicking off with a special on Netflix, and a first season of 18 episodes, as well as a bunch of supplementary material for YouTube, hence that YouTube Kids logo on the toy boxes. I personally think Thomas stands a way better chance of success on YouTube than Netflix, because it's far more accessible there, but that's just me. Toy Anxiety's video also caught a glimpse of this promo reel on the TV screen there, and we got this frame of a bunch of the official character renders. Again, I put official in air quotes because it's more apparent than ever to me that these are not the final character designs. These all look like photo bashes using the nitrogen renders. With the exception of the tender engines, I don't know what's going on with them. None of this stuff is consistent. I don't know. The feeling I'm getting from all of this is that these promo renders were all rushed or pulled from concept art or something, because they were probably rushed to meet a deadline. And maybe that deadline was Toy Fair, actually. Maybe they don't have official promo renders yet, so they just pulled these so they could get something on the toy boxes before Toy Fair and whatever else is happening early on. That's also pretty evident from Nia's toy box that was on display, which uses totally different artwork than the one on the screen, and it says FPO on it, which means for placement only, aka a placeholder. I really hope that there will be much higher quality renders later on that'll replace these scary ass uncanny things, and I think it's a real shame that these are what's being used to promote the new show, cause man, these are just not appealing. This is where I start to question this rebrand a bit again, because this was a 2-year-long project, yet they don't have finalized promotional character renders for the toy boxes? I mean, how does that happen? My takeaway from all this stuff at Toy Fair is that the toys themselves look pretty good, and I'm excited to collect the diecast range when it comes out. No real complaints as far as the toys go, but I do find myself starting to question some of the decisions behind this rebrand at this point.
So, yeah, like, totally agree with Unlucky Tug. Like, in terms of the merchandise, they look amazing. Like, I genuinely am looking forward to, well, it's probably not purchase all of it. I am looking interested into purchasing, like, a few of them. Like, I know, like, Henry might like be up there, and like Oliver and Toad definitely up there, but in terms of like everything, that's a different thing entirely. And yeah, like they're really inconsistent with all their promotional stuff, so I was like, has like the past 2 years just been like they've been working on like the concept of the new show, and then only recently have they started putting work into like the actual show and promotion itself? Or were the promotions just like last minute, oh, grab the old assets real quick? I don't know.
And that brings us to now. I feel like so much has been revealed, yet we still haven't seen that much really. We still don't have a trailer yet, and
Nope.
I don't imagine we'll be getting anything until May or so, when the new YouTube content is scheduled to come out. So before any of that stuff comes out, let me now go through my predictions for the new show. Now, these predictions are not necessarily what I want from the show, but more so what I'm expecting, based on what we've seen so far. I'm expecting the main characters to be voiced by kids, i.e. Thomas, Percy, Rosie, and any other younger confirmed characters like Bill and Ben. Meanwhile, the older characters like Gordon, James, Henry, etc. will be adults. I think they're going to continue that for Mollingen's Go, and I'm hoping I'm wrong on this because I think the voice acting is going to make or break the show for me. But going by the cutesy face that they've given Thomas, I think it's more than likely he's going to be voiced by a kid. But we shall see. I'm also hoping that they ditch the whole 2 different dubs thing. I really don't think we need a US dub of the show anymore. Thomas is a uniquely British thing. Everyone is aware of that. So why not play that up and have them all have British accents? Bluey, for example, is a massive success worldwide, and I think part of its charm is that the characters have such prominent Australian accents. So why not just do the same with Thomas? It would save the production a lot of money by not hiring 2 different sets of voice actors. I think we will return to having a narrator again, and it will not be Thomas this time. The narrator plays such a crucial role in the show, and everyone knows that Thomas has a narrator. I think people still associate it with Ringo Starr, even 40 years later. So I think we'll see a return to that. I think we're going to see a return to the old status quo for the most part, with the characters fulfilling their main jobs from the previous CGI series. Thomas will be back to pulling Annie and Clarabelle on his branch line and racing Birdie. Gordon will be back pulling the express, Percy with the mail train, Henry on heavy goods trains, Emily with her coaches, Duck and Oliver on the Little Western, etc. With Rosie supposedly becoming a main character now, I wouldn't be surprised if she also now works on Thomas's branch line. So her, Thomas, and Percy can all be together. Scruffy is very prominent in the new toy lines, as are the troublesome trucks, and they've really put some effort into making the trucks' faces all look different. So from this alone, I'm expecting the trucks to be the new main villains of the show, with Scruffy as their leader. I think they're going to move away from the Diesels being the main bad guys,
Thank God.
and now focus on the trucks causing the problems more. This would be a change that I am totally 100% fine with. The Steamy Diesel rivalry is pretty old now. There's been a change-up in the blue and green liveries. Gordon and Henry are both darker, likely to differentiate them from Thomas and Percy more. The new rule seems to be that no one can be the exact same color anymore, so I'm expecting Edward to show up in a light faded blue, you know, because he's old. I'm expecting Duck to keep his foresty green from the CGI series, and I wouldn't be surprised if Oliver was in a darker shade of green now, or maybe some sort of minty green. I would like him and Duck to match, of course, but that probably won't happen. I think twin characters will be the exception. Bill and Ben will match since they're twins, and that's part of their whole gimmick.
Donald and Douglas are going to
With
stay
Flynn and
black.
Harold seeing complete ground-up
do come
redesigns
back.
to look more modern, I think we're also going to see a redesign for Birdie and other potential non-rail characters. I think Birdie will look similar-ish to how he did before, perhaps a later design of Bus, and I think he'll have something like a racing stripe on his sides now. I'm also expecting more characters to show up than what the diecast line is confirmed. Rheneas is confirmed, and I doubt only he will appear in this without Skarloey or other narrow gauge engines.
Yeah, like it doesn't feel right for Rheneas to be a thing without Skarloey, so there is no way Skarloey won't be in the new
With Charlie
show.
and Whiff potentially becoming female, I could totally see them gender swapping Rheneas or Rusty, or both. Rusty's already been gender swapped before, so why not again? And Rheneas' basis is literally known as the Old Lady. I expect the prominent international engines like Ashima or Yang Bao to show up at some point. And I think we'll see Bulstrode in this too. He was an All Engines Go for some reason, and he is the show's most memorable boat character. I don't think we'll be seeing any Railway Series only characters. Like, we're not going to be seeing Bear or Pip and Emma in this. But I suppose anything is possible at this point, so who knows? And lastly, I think they're going to pull a Season 8 and not introduce any new characters in this first season. It'll be entirely the returning cast and redefining the new status quo going forward. There are new characters on the way, we do know the names of some of them, but I don't think we'll be seeing them until next year. This year is entirely about bringing back all the oldies and re-establishing the world. And I think that's it for now. And it won't be long before we find out how many of my predictions are right or wrong. Will Mattel have learned the right lessons from All Engines Go? Well, it's hard to say until we actually see the show. But from what we have seen so far, it's a bit of a mixed bag. But definitely more positive than negative, I'd say. I think there's a ton of improvement and promise on display here. Returning to CGI and a real-world environment. Returning to the characters looking like trains again. Great variety and innovation in the toy lines. But I also think there's some questionable decisions I'm not 100% on. I still don't love the look of the colored irises, or some of the new face designs, Rosie's especially. I think their attempts at globalizing the character designs are notably poor. The material they're using to promote the show looks rushed, and I question the decision to completely redesign certain characters from the ground up. I think there will still be a lot more surprises in store for us before the show actually comes out, and I for one am excited to see what happens. I'm still cautiously optimistic about all of this, but a bit more optimistic than cautious, I'd say. I'm still of the mindset that if the new show sucks, then whatever, who cares? But if it is good, then awesome. More Thomas to enjoy.
Concrete.
Oh, good. Patrick's awake now.
Ha!
So Pat, what do you think of the new Thomas?
Oh, god damn it.
Safe to say you're pretty excited for it then, huh? Wait a second, is that Duke?
Oh, yep. Okay, so, concrete. So, that's definitely a pretty extensive, well, quote unquote extensive look into the new show. I mean, me, like much like Tug, I am actually optimistic into like the show coming back, and like I don't know, I guess at this point with like the differences between like the animation style, the promotions, and all the merch, at this point we'll just have to wait for the trailer to come in order to have like a full-on like idea of what Mattel has in store. I think having it on Netflix will probably be like a good. Netflix is a weird one, but at the same time, I am glad that like the main show itself is like on a specific streaming service and not, oh hey, here's some of the episodes on this streaming service, or and like hey, here's half a season on like that streaming service. No, they're going to have everything on the one service, and I think that's going to be good. It most likely it will like be on like television because like it's a TV show for kids. Of course, it's going to be on TV. As to what time slot it's going to have, who knows? And then I don't watch TV, so I could care less. But yeah, no, I'm happy that Thomas and Friends is coming back to a status that we all know and enjoy. As for what I'm expecting from the show, a lot of it, some of it does fall in line with Unlucky Tug. Like, I do agree that like this first season is just going to be like about the returning characters, and then like all the seasons after that is just going to focus is not going to focus, but will focus some of its time on like new characters and like as well as like returning characters. Personally, if you ask me, I think in terms of like characters coming back and new characters, there should at most, not at least, at most, be two characters of both old and new coming back. So like say season 2 brings back I don't know, random names off the top of my head, like Molly and Bear. Two random names off the top of my head, but those would be good candidates for the show to come back with. And in terms of like new characters, I mean, I would personally like to see a lot more like British engines come in, because like there's I don't know, there's just been this, like I get that the show's meant to go international and it's meant to like be a celebration of like worldwide connections, but a lot of the characters in CGI are either dead by the time that the show would supposedly take place in, or they're the wrong gauge. And so it's like, for me personally, I feel like the new characters should, like, well, at the beginning, I will say this, at the beginning of the show, of like the second season, they should be British engines. But then, like, as they go further in, they start bringing in international classes. And so, what else? Voice actors. Unfortunately, I am in agreement with Tug that Thomas, Percy, and Rosie are most likely going to be more children-based. But for me, I'm hoping that they're going to be more teenagers rather than children, because like with like the chibi style that was All Engines Go, it made sense for Thomas, Percy, Nia, Kana, Diesel, Bruno. It made sense for all of them to be like children, but for what the animation style is looking like, and like the face especially, it makes a lot more sense for them to be more teenager aged rather than children. So that's what I'm hoping for. It may not happen, and like everyone may be like all like adult voices, but if it does come down to like children voicing some of the characters, I'm hoping that it's just teenagers, not, you know. What else? In terms of Scruffy, it is seeming like that the trucks are going to be like the main antagonists of the new series, which honestly, I'm all for. Like, I'm all for the trucks being the main antagonists, because we haven't seen the trucks be antagonistic since, I want to say The Adventure Begins, because it's like, okay, granted, I haven't rewatched seasons 19, 20, or 21 as of late, so I don't know for sure if that is like if they were actually troublesome in those seasons, but from what I remember, like The Adventure Begins was the last time we saw the trucks being troublesome. So yeah, for them to potentially be the main antagonists for the show, I'm all down for it. Yeah, that's essentially a lot of my thoughts. Like, actually, you know what I think? I think the second season might reintroduce Edward, Donald, Douglas, and Duck, because, hear me out, those four were not announced in the diecast lineup. So it's making me think that they, like, well, especially Donald, Douglas, and Duck, those three may not appear in the first season, but like maybe in like season 2, season 3 onwards, that's when they'll appear. But in terms of Edward, I'm a little surprised and also not surprised at the same time, because it's like he's meant to be like the old wise character, so it's like, yeah, it makes sense that he may not like appear as much as like all the other characters. But even so, it's like he, like, if that were the case, he should have gotten merch during all that craze. So it's making me think that Edward's not going to be in the first season, maybe in the second season, but who knows. And my prediction, and like, well, aka a prediction that the Unlucky Tug hasn't said, we're going to be getting a brand new intro, a brand new like intro and outro song, because we have had the engine roll call since 2004. It needs to go. Like, I am sorry, but it was fine for its era, but I just can't stand the engine roll call being at the end of every episode, as well as the intro and outro songs for the episodes. So, like, I am hoping to God that we get a new intro song. Like, if they like remix like the original song that Mike and Jr. Made, that'd be interesting. But I don't know. There's just something about me that's thinking that we might not get a remix of the original song, but more so like we're getting a brand new intro. Which, if we do get a new intro song, I'll be fine with it. If we get a remix of the original song, I'll also be fine with it. But we'll just have to wait until the trailer and like the first episode comes out. before we can get a clear idea of if it's going to happen. So those are my thoughts on the 2026 series. That's also the reaction to the Unlucky Tugs' thoughts on the 2026 series. And with that, we can only hope. So I'm Thoris the Ivan Engine. I'll see y'all later.